Well, great to be here on last Wednesday. Outstanding effort by us again in Cheney. We led the number 3 team in the United States, and the probable host team for the FCS playoffs to 3 points, and had a lead in the game, and played as hard as we could, as long as we could, and finally they started big playing us with some good plays. The sprint draw they ran for a touchdown and the punt return for a touchdown are 2 plays that are preventable, but they occurred because they have great athletes that are playing hard with a lot of confidence. Otherwise, the one thing I'm expressly proud of is our effort, in-game effort, our body language in-game through these last really rough games. And we got our 3rd monster this weekend against a Weber State team that is scratching and clawing and fighting, trying to bite their way into the playoffs. And the overall playoff national picture is that they've got a great shot if they beat us. And we got to play hard enough so that they don't beat us. And it's not Weber we're playing to show that we're a good team. We're a latent team that has some goodness inside. It's been awfully hard to get it out, and a lot of it's been submerged by the plethora of unavailabilities, which continues to mount. We will not play Mario Jenkins this weekend. The doctors everybody's green lighted him, and we sat with him and said it's just not worth the risk. And the risk for him is that he's been trying to play hard with a cast as good as he can. And is there a chance the injury could get worse? Yes, there certainly is. No medical degree could tell me not. So Mario will not play this weekend, and a senior Jake Pettit will start and play the entire game at weak side linebacker. And it's good for Jake, it's great for Mario, and it's good for our future.
How many injuries do you guys have?
1,000. It's too numerous to count. The availability and unavailability is just incredible. And, we lost an All-American candidate in our offensive line, Skylar Phillips. We lost an All-Big Sky candidate as a defensive end in Rashid Williams, and it's just mounted since. In the back end, we had 6 scholarship safeties that have played a lot. We're down to 2. It's just the nature of what's happened to us. And whether it's luck or not, was preventable or not, I'm not really sure. It's just the nature of what's happened to us.
Do you think the season would be different if you didn't have all these injuries?
Of course. Really, no, wait a minute. Let's back that up. I don't think you really want to ask that question. No. Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, it's a foregone conclusion that we're a much better football team out of the training room than we are now. And everybody is. And I know every team has injuries, but good teams don't. They really don't. And if you go back to 2014, why were we so good? Played the same band in the front. Defensively, we hardly missed any starts. It's just the way it goes, man. If you're not injured, you're probably competing. And when you're banged up, you're playing young guys who are learning on the job. And you're learning on the job, you're getting thrashed. We got too many guys getting some OJT.
Who are the 2 safeties that you have?
We're going to have to wait till Saturday so I can identify them. Yeah, so we got some guys that are taking a lot of reps. One of them, of course, is Tyson Manu, who's just had a phenomenal career as a senior. Especially, he's played so well during these last 3 games, producing tackles. And every time it seems like when he misses a tackle, which he does, it seems like it turns into a bigger play. So he's really capped a lot of plays and has really played his position well in defense for us this year as a safety. And I look forward to having that same kind of game again on Saturday.
Any update on the quarterback situation?
Yep. And when we roll out for the first play of the game on Saturday, we'll see who it is.
Who are the options?
Well, we could play Robert Quinlan, we could play Tommy Jewell, we could play Trey Pilster, we could play Tanner Guller, and we could play Kyle Williams.
Please,
and he's a senior. And Kyle wears the quarterback number because really he's a great high school running quarterback.
Mike, you were talking a little bit about injuries, and yeah, sometimes teams just have bad luck. But is it also something that's reevaluated during the off-season, like your off-season conditioning program, nutrition, any other factors? That
all of that, Mark. We go into every injury and we discuss it with everybody involved and why it occurred. And part of it is summer conditioning. There's no question, summer conditioning is part of it. And the problem is that guys stay here in the summer, they got to find jobs and work, and that's becoming more of a rare. In Division I, you don't do it because in Division I you go to school, and you get paid to stay, and you get cost of attendance, and you stay and lift weights, and you eat and you eat and you eat, and you're bigger and stronger and faster.
What has made Why have you guys been able to stay competitive a little bit longer with Montana and Eastern? What's been
We're not out of
different?
gas. We're not out of gas because we're so young. Is the issue, literally. We found that we're more competitive now deeper into the second quarter than we were earlier in the season. And we're better in the third quarter. I mean, we've really addressed our third quarter issue against both teams. You know, last week, Eastern didn't get away from us until the punt return. And the punt return was, everything was good, and the two guys that made mistakes, one's a sophomore and the other one's a freshman. And they made the mistakes and allowed a great player a great opportunity to make a great play, and that's what great players do.
Have you been proud of how they've been able to hang with Montana and Eastern for so long?
I'm exquisitely, extremely satisfied as a coaching staff and as a football team how hard we have played throughout a game and how long we've been able to stay with two very good programs. It's a testimony to how much more mental we're becoming. The issue very simply is A, how we travel, B, who we schedule in the non-conference, C, how we can stay lucky and more healthy, and D, who we can recruit. And that who can we recruit is limited by our own self because we recruit far and above the standards of the NCAA requires and far and above the standards ISU requires. So all four of those factors make a play into who's playing for us in these games.
Going back to the summer conditioning, how do you address that?
Well, I'm trying to get summer school for football. I need summer school for football. We can move our way ahead academically. We would take a less of an academic load during the school year. Our guys are taking 16, 17, 18 credits. So they graduate on time because graduation is really important, and it should be in every program. But if you take 18 credits versus 12 credits during the semester, you have less time to be in the training room. And so it all plays into it. Without summer school, room and board, our guys have to take full loads, super full loads to graduate on time or even ahead of schedule, which is the goal of our university and its athletic teams in the fall and the spring. And that means we're not here in the summer, and during the fall, we're super busy academically. We're taking a bigger load and graduating in 4 years rather than 5 years during the fall. And so we're worn out, we're exhausted. We're exhausted academically taking 18 credits, period. Then add on the fact you play Division I athletics. Wow. And then you're taking a 62-hour bus ride. And that's what it took for us to get to and from Cheney last week.
How do you get that approved, I guess?
I don't know, that's above my pay scale.
Mike, we haven't even mentioned.
Good question.
I'm sorry. Mike, we haven't even mentioned senior day yet.
No, I know.
And how much does emotions, because you've been there both as a player and as a coach, how much do emotions play into a senior day game?
Well, for us, Mark, I think it'll go for about a quarter. We'll play our guts out for a quarter just on the emotion of being a senior day. And like Coach Sweeney always used to say, pretty soon the emotions run out and the better team wins. And it does. In football, the game's 3 hours plus long. If you're on TV, it seems like 4 hours long. Yeah, emotion eventually runs out, and if you've got a substantial lead and can hang on desperately, it's hard to play for 3 hours just on emotion. Very few teams can do it. Iowa did it at home a couple weeks. Last week, we saw some teams. Duke did it. Well, you can do it, but you got to have talent too. And our talent level, because of our injuries, is extraordinarily far away from what our potential was in August.
Talk about this senior group. They've been through it all. They went through the good, and now they've gone through the bad.
Well, they've gone through the bad,
the bad, the good, the bad, right?
The good, the bad, and back to the record bad.
Yeah.
The record feels bad, but everything else is so great for these guys. First of all, they've been outstanding students. They've been awesome socially. I think everybody across our community is proud to know a Bengal football player. I mean, our guys do the right thing all the time in everything they do. And we're good in the weight room, and we're good in the classroom, we're great in meetings, and where we're not great is on the scoreboard. And there are too many factors that play into that for these guys to surmount just by themselves. So I'm so proud of them. And a lot of them are here on aid because they are good students. And they have proven it because they graduated already, and some of them are in grad school, some of them are working on extra majors. I'm just really proud because the football program that was here when I got here is not the same one that's here exists today. I mean, what we do academically stands above by itself, and that has been the focus of the university. They want us to win. The university wants us to win, but they wanted us to be great students first, and we've accomplished that with this group.
Will you sort of, reflect on the careers of Josh and K-Dub and kind of they both are kind of up in the record books now, and I know that K-Dub has switched spots on the field. Just kind of talk about those guys for a second.
Both guys both Kyle Williams and Josh Cook are emblematic of what you want out of college football players. Whether they get a chance to play anymore is kind of not up to me. But what they've done for us is spill their guts every time they came down the ramp as players, every single day for 4 or 5 years. So I'm proud that they're in our program, and I'm proud how well they've played and at what level they've played at. And while the record has slid off the table the last 2 years of their career, they've never gotten so frustrated that they allowed it to be a part of their persona. And we talk a lot about body language, and we talk a lot about how you think and how critical you are and how you deal with your own anxiety in this program. And I think those 2 guys embody, being positive, being up and playing a game, playing a sport, because we're not building bridges or curing cancer. What we're doing is trying to win games in the very end. And if that's the only measuring stick to use in this program, then you're wrong. You're dead wrong. You want to value this program and what it does academically and socially and allow us to be competitive. And I'll tell you what, in the last 2 weeks against 2 uphill teams on the road, after 2 extremely long bus trips, we've been competitive as long as we could be. And so I'm proud of every single part of that, and Josh and K-Dub embody that.
Any favorite memories, either in game or off the field with those guys?
Of those guys?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, K-Dub playing all those different positions until we found him a home. And then he couldn't catch the ball over his head. He literally could not catch the ball above his shoulders. And he worked hard on it and has become a dominant receiver in this conference. And of course, Josh got hurt so bad last year with his fingers being broken. He had to catch the ball with his index fingers and his thumbs. And he actually missed some starts last year as a tight end because his hands were so beat up. And yet in the second half of the Weber State game last year, he went in and caught 6 balls in the second half by himself and tried to will us back into the game. So, yeah, in game, awesome. But I have so many off-field memories with those guys. Lifetime friends, lifetime.
Mike, talk to Jay Hill this morning before we came here for your press conference. And you have to tip your hat to Weber's defense. They hold Sac State, they hold Portland State, they hold Cal Poly. 15 points or less in a Big Sky today, that's almost unheard of. What is it about their defense that has them playing so well right now?
Ron McBride. Former head coach Ron McBride was in there, and Weber became a great defensive team in the last decade, and they've done nothing to stop it. They have a defensive heritage. They play hard in the front. They play solid in the back end, and they've got that one stopper corner. The other corners are not quite as good, but they're stopper corners. You need a stopper corner in today's football. There's only 3 things I ever want to know about a football team: what's their schedule, who's their quarterback, and where's their good corner. They got them. They're probably very, very, very good. And if you go back to us in 14, we had a good schedule. We had a great quarterback. We didn't have a stopper corner. We gave up 505 a game in conference, but we had enough offense because we had a quarterback, man.
Do they do anything defensively, Mike, exotic or different?
Nope, they're an up-in-your-face press man-to-man team. The kind of teams that give every passing team fits. It's a cover where they play cover 1, which is one high safety and everybody else a tight man-to-man. It's a dragon. It's a dragon for a quarterback to slay. But our quarterbacks, whoever he is, some are experienced and some are not. The one thing you can do against all that cover 1 is run your quarterback. And I think Trey Pilster has shown he can run.
Yeah, because they're number 1 in the conference right now in pass defense.
Yes, sir. They're number 1 in pass defense, and maybe we're not going to pass at all.
Okay.
Their quarterback.
Jadrian Clark.
Yes, sir.
Again, scheduled quarterback, and they got it. And he's playing so well as a senior quarterback. He's probably the best quarterback Weber's had in place since a decade ago when they were really good at quarterback and a playoff team. And he's really playing well. He runs the ball very well. He's got good size, got good feet. He doesn't do a lot of different things in the passing game, but he can throw it downfield. And they have an outstanding tight end from San Mateo, California. It's a great pass catcher. So they've got a really good recipe for success. They've got a winning record. They ran into a couple of mudslides here over the last couple of weeks, but they found a way to right the ship. And I know what they're thinking as they play against us. They've got to win, and they've got to win convincingly to try and think somebody can drive them into the playoffs. Our job is to beat them, play after play after play after play, and win on the scoreboard at the end.
They do many designed QB
Quarterback runs, yeah. It's a lot of it's quarterback power, which is words in a sentence I would never say. Quarterback power, but they take their best player on offense and they run him with the ball. college coaches can do that. You can't do that at the level above us, and we certainly don't want to do it here.
Talk about the rise of Weber State. They've been
No, I know. I got asked this question before. It's no rivalry. A rivalry is cat greatest. There's no rivalry between Weber State and Idaho State per se. Weber's dominated so much, it's not a rivalry. And of course, always in the last couple of years, we get to this part of the season, we're not playing for anything other than trying to get better in a game. So we're not playing Weber, we're playing ourselves again, trying to unearth that latent team that I know we have underneath us.
And have you seen a rise from Weber State in the last few years? They've
what?
gone a rise. They've gone. It seems like they've gone.
No,
better.
they were good. They were good a decade ago. Very good under Coach McBride. They slumped a little bit actually, and they've come back to where they were. They're not. Jay is not necessarily. He's rebuilt a program a little bit in total, but that program that Coach McBride had there was a playoff team with great quarterbacking and an awesome defense and man-to-man defense has been at Weber State for a long time. So they've struggled a little bit academically with their APR, and they've done some things to try and bring that under control. Yet they've had access to good players, and they've had good players all the way through. They've never been in a situation where, a couple years ago, in our very last game, we started 148 or 185 pound guy at outside linebacker, Kurt Carstetter, and we started Ethan Monroe at linebacker in the last game. He had never started a game in high school. So I'm just telling you, we're hurt, we're banged up again. This feels a lot like 12 to me in terms of our effectiveness as a team, but it's not the same as 12 because in 12 we were really outmanned because we're trying to rebuild our program from our scholarship losses. We have great players in place. A lot of them are hurt, and a lot of them will be back next year to form the nucleus of what I think will be a much improved team, provided we stay healthy.
I should have one more question about Zach Johnson. He's kind of had some different roles, and he's battled through an injury. Do you think he's kind of finally found a stable role with what he's doing now?
He's really playing consistently and level. He's 3 out of 4 field goals on the season. He kicked a field goal into the wind last week, and if it had to go another yard, it wouldn't have made it because it went right to the goalpost and it fell right almost down into the pad that goes around the goalpost bottom. So he's done a really nice job coming back from an ACL injury. I mean, how many kickers ever have an ACL injury on their plant leg in their career? He's come back and really done a nice job.
And he, I guess, last week he set the school extra point record, which sort of snuck up on me for sure, but maybe some other folks.
Yeah, and he's got another year to go, and we scored a lot of touchdowns in his career. And a lot of that is Andy Burtonshaw snapping and Tommy Jewell holding and everybody protecting. In fact, one of the issues a couple weeks ago was that we had to put some defensive guys in our PAT protection unit because we were running out of offensive linemen. And John Raheem Peoples and Trevor Malloy play down in there, and they've done a hell of a job getting in there and holding off people. Because everybody runs a middle rush, and they try to jack in there, and it's pretty violent on PAT. Wow, there's a lot of stuff goes on down in there. I don't like it, but